everyone. Welcome back to Parashah Popsicles. It is good to see you again. Here we already are in mid-August and we find ourselves at Parashat Re'eh. This comes from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14, we will be looking at today. But before we hear from the words of Torah, I wanted to take us back a little bit to hear a story from the land of Israel. Before Israel was founded as a state in 1948, there were pioneers and farmers that lived and worked on the land. So about 200 years ago, they began cultivating a fruit that we now know as the orange. And at the time, they called it the Jaffa Orange because they cultivated it near the port city of Jaffa. Jaffa is one of the oldest known cities in the world. And this orange, because it was cultivated on the Mediterranean Sea, was able to be exported all over. And the early pioneers were able to grow their economy in the modern state of Israel because of the profit of this orange. But in the land of Israel, harvesting a fruit is definitely not seen as a symbol of wealth. In fact, it is a symbol of God's blessing. Even though we grow a fruit, we have to remember that it doesn't really belong to us. Do you have a question, Aaron?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, but when are you going to start making popsicles?
In a minute. We have to learn about them first, okay? So even though we help to grow the fruit doesn't belong to us. And the Torah teaches us that the first fruits that grow in the land or on the tree are to be given as a gift to God, as an offering. And if we don't give it as an offering to God, we're supposed to leave part of the field or part of the fruit left over for the stranger or the orphan or the widow or someone who does not have food of their own. So we read in chapter 14 of Deuteronomy this week, "You shall set aside a part of the field for God, and then you shall leave it for the one who is no longer able to eat their fill." We find these inspiring words of helping the needy in our Torah portion, which continues in chapter 15. "Do not harden your heart or shut your hand against one who is in need." So let us remember, let these oranges remind us to open our hand and to give to those who are hungry, who are in need. So we are going to be making orange popsicles today. You guessed it. My favorite kind of orange popsicle is, of course, the Orange Creamsicle. And I found out that National Creamsicle Day is on August 14th this week, for it remembers, I've learned this week too, for we remember the person who made the first popsicle. His name was Frank Epperson, and he accidentally made a popsicle when he put something in the freezer with a stick in it and noticed that it froze and made a yummy treat. And he called the first popsicle an Epsicle after his name. It was, of course, later known as the popsicle, and the first popsicle that he made was an orange creamsicle. So we're going to remember National Creamsicle Day with orange creamsicles this week. Yes, Oren.
I love you.
I love you too. So Ella has been squeezing these oranges. Look how many she's gotten done here. And we need to make 1 cup of orange juice. Of course, if you just want to use orange juice from a carton, you can pour 1 cup of orange juice into the blender. So we're going to give Oren a try to squeeze some oranges as well. So this is the same squeezer that we used for lemons. We're just going to use it for oranges. So let's put it in there. And we have to squeeze them together really hard.
No.
Push them.
I can do it.
Okay, go ahead. And then all the yummy juice comes out. Great job, Oren. Squeezing those oranges. So after you get 1 cup of orange juice into the blender, we are going to add 1 cup of vanilla yogurt. And this will, of course, wow, we just got squirted. This will, of course, turn it into a creamy treat. And we're going to sweeten it up with just a few teaspoons of sugar.
I want to pour it. I want to pour.
All of it? Yep.
Can I put
have our creamy orange mix. We're going to pour it into the popsicle molds, stick the tops on, and then where do they go from here?
In the freezer.
Into the freezer.
Yeah!
We hope you have a great week, and remember to give and help someone else who is less fortunate.